We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit. This sacred land was the subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy of the Ojibwe and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. The reason we acknowledge the land is because it is important on a day like today, during a time of joy, commemoration, celebration, to take a moment to reflect on who we are, where we have come from, and how we have come to be on this land. Unless we are Indigenous to this land, we or our ancestors have come from another place, either by choice or not. Indigenous peoples have graciously allowed us to live, study, and work on this land, and for this there is gratitude. Non-Indigenous people can work with Indigenous peoples towards truth, reconciliation, and better health, education, and welfare for all peoples. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Patricia Houston, and I have the pleasure and the privilege of being the Vice Dean of the MD program at the University of Toronto. It seems like a very short and yet a very long time ago that we first met in 2016 during O Week and shared the reciting of the oath of the stethoscope ceremony together. Your class and our faculty were starting a very important journey, the introduction of the Foundations program. It was something new for the MD program, certainly new for me and new for you as well. And you were and have been and will continue to be the leaders in change, the collaborators, the champions who made our program as good as it is and will make our healthcare system better. Now more than ever, we need you as you continue into the next phase of your education and become members of the healthcare workforce. Let me thank all that have taken the time today to spend some time with us in our digital celebration. It is not the same as Convocation Hall. It's still a time to reflect, to remember, to celebrate the graduates of 2020, in whose honor we're gathered today. I also want to welcome your family, significant others, and friends from both near and far, as well as the faculty and staff whose support has been so critical in helping you to become successful. Today, we also have the good fortune of having our alumni, who are graduates of the 7TO class, joining us, along with Dr. McKnight, the president of the Medical Alumni Association. I hope you had some time to reflect upon your experiences over the past 4 years. You've had a little bit of time away from the clinical environment to do this. And think about the knowledge, the skills, and the attitudes that you have acquired that will support you as you go into postgraduate medical education and the career of your choice. When you think back, I hope you will remember the words I shared with you at the stethoscope ceremony. I spoke about the importance of resilience, those skills that make it possible to get through difficult times and to thrive during and after them. As you enter the new abnormal of our hospitals and clinical environment during this pandemic, you'll now need to be resilient more than ever. So what are those skills? You need to develop and understand your core set of beliefs and values and hold on to them. Reach out to others. Ask for support and help. You're not in this alone. Try to maintain a positive attitude even when the going gets tough. Find a role model or a mentor who is resilient and learn from them. Face your fears. Do not dwell on failures. Try to find meaning in those stressful events and learn to think about them. Look for every opportunity to learn, because learning is a lifelong commitment. To quote Ernest Shackleton, you will need to have moral courage. You'll need both optimism for a better future and courage to be the champions of change. I also hope that as you take this next step and you graduate from U of T med school, you also hold on to the aspirational goals of the MD program and that they help to guide you over your career. Those goals ask you to be clinically competent and prepared for lifelong learning, adaptive in response to the needs of patients from diverse and varied populations, engaged in integrated team-based care in which patients are addressed in an equitable, holistic, and individualized manner, reflective and able to act in the face of novelty, ambiguity, and complexity, resilient and mindful of your well-being and the well-being of those around you, and capable and committed to ethical decision-making and the highest standards of professionalism, evidence-informed practices and scholarship, and a culture of continuous quality improvement. These are aspirational goals, and we can all strive for these no matter what stage of our career trajectory or what physician role we may choose. Today, I'd also like to take a moment to recognize a particular staff member who has worked tirelessly on your behalf as part of the enrollment services team and is well known to you, and who will be retiring later this year. Bill Gregg joined U of T in 1987 and the Faculty of Medicine in 1990. He's contributed to many programs that we've implemented, operationalized, and grown. To name just a few, the MD program admissions bursary, the Faculty of Medicine grant program, the Inspire bursaries for Indigenous students, and the MD program COVID-19 Relief Student Fund. Bill was the winner of the David Eberly Award in 2014 and in 2016, and won the Faculty of Medicine Staff Impact Award in 2019. But the most significant contribution of Bill Gregg to the MD program has been his kind, thoughtful, generous approach to our students, his complete knowledge of student financial aid, and his commitment to finding the financial assistance to help the well-being of our students. Thank you, Bill. I hope you're very happy in your retirement. So I also want to thank you, the class of 2020. Your class has contributed in so many ways over the past 4 years. You've advocated for changes within the program to make both the foundations and the clerkship curriculum better, to integrate wellness initiatives such as the Fall Reading Week. You've advocated for the marginalized and disadvantaged, for health promotion for the underhoused, for cultural competency as a core of our curriculum, and you've worked with local organizations such as the Black Medical Student Association, the Decent Work and Health Network, and Toronto Pride. And when you were precipitously taken out of your clinical duties in March of this year, you took on the sourcing of PPE for frontline health care providers and participated in many student-led programs to support healthcare providers and our community during this COVID catastrophe. A special thanks to the class presidents, Justin Boyle and Yezarni Wynn, who have been wise and courageous as your leaders. And to Kayla Sliskovic and Shima Shakura Bakhtiel, who as MedSoc presidents provided me with very sage advice and counsel, sometimes at troubled times. I'm so proud of all of you and all of your accomplishments. I can state with certainty on behalf of our entire faculty and staff, you are why we are here. The future for healthcare in Canada and around the world is bright with the graduation of the class of 2TO. I'd like to express my special thanks to our Interim Director of Enrollment Services and Faculty Registrar, Hannah Lee, the Enrollment Services Offices, and the entire MD program, who are responsible for supporting our program and organizing this morning's digital virtual ceremony. Hannah, to you and all of your team, thank you. So in closing, I'd like to share with you a quote from a book, Cutting for Stone. The author, Dr. Abraham Verghese, is both a physician and a writer. And he spoke in this book to what it means to be a physician. Medicine is a demanding mistress, yet she is faithful, generous, and true. She gives the privilege of seeing patients, of teaching students. She gives meaning to everything I do. I hope medicine will also give to you a life of meaning and the privilege to take care of others. To continue this morning's proceedings, I would like to now invite our Dean, Professor Trevor Young, who is going to give you his own words of greeting and gratitude. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm glad that I have a chance to speak with you today even if it's not in person. I want you to think back to a day in August 4 years ago. We were all gathered together on your first day of medical school. We imagined the journey you would take, the challenges you would face, and the great things ahead. We looked towards 2020 as a time of promise and a point where that vision we shared would be fulfilled. Needless to say, none of us envisioned today's reality. We see our society challenged by a global pandemic, COVID-19. It strains our healthcare system and fragments communities as we practice social distancing. At the same time, it lays bare long-standing inequities and injustices, including anti-Black racism, the subjugation of Canada's Indigenous peoples, and economic inequality. This makes us angry, sad, and makes us feel hopeless. But as individuals and as physicians, we must stand together in solidarity with all communities, especially the most marginalized, as we fight COVID and fight for a better society. Whether it's George Floyd on a street in Minneapolis or the many missing Indigenous women, we have seen too often how not confronting racism has deadly consequences for Black and Indigenous people. We cannot be silenced in the face of injustice and still claim to be a moral society. So as we come together, let us acknowledge that there is likely sadness in our hearts, but I know there is also a strong sense of commitment and resolve to confront these challenges. How do I know that? Because I've seen how the class of 2020 has responded to the pandemic already. You organize PPE drives, you provided childcare for frontline healthcare workers, you prepared food and ran errands, you found ways to volunteer your talents with public health teams to fight COVID, and you made sure that those most in need were not ignored. So while we may not have envisioned this ending to your studies in the MD program at University of Toronto, you have more than fulfilled our shared vision. You will now enter the medical profession as doctors, called upon to meet a challenge the likes of which we have not seen in 100 years. You may not feel prepared, or you may feel overwhelmed by the challenge, and I don't blame you. In the face of uncertainty, I encourage you to trust in your training, trust in your colleagues, and trust in the confidence we have in you. You would not be here today if we weren't confident in your skills and abilities. And remember that you have learned from many remarkable doctors during your 4 years with us. There are so many examples I could cite, but today I'd like to take a moment to talk about our Vice Dean of the MD program, Dr. Patricia Houston. In addition to running the MD program, which is by no means a simple task, she is an anesthesiologist and critical care physician at St. Michael's Hospital. Every day she cares for patients, families, and educates trainees. And in the midst of the pandemic, she's on the front lines working in the ICU at St. Michael's Hospital with patients with COVID-19. She is an example of the leadership that we should all seek to emulate. Yet as she has spoken about recently on social media, even this pillar of our community sometimes has doubts. She too feels the pangs of imposter syndrome, but she places her trust in her training, herself, and her colleagues. And as a result, the patients at St. Michael's, in the ICU and elsewhere, and our students are very well cared for. Today, you are our graduates. Tomorrow, you are our colleagues. I want to welcome you to the profession, and I especially want to thank the family and friends who have helped you reach this milestone. To the grandparents, moms, dads, children, partners watching today, thank you for all you've done to support today's graduates. Graduates of the MD class of 2020, congratulations. Thank you.
In a moment, we will ask you to recite the MD graduation oath. You will find it in your digital order of ceremony. For centuries, physicians have practiced in accordance with principles that were first formally enunciated by Hippocrates. Oaths have changed in meaning in more modern times, but the core message remains the same. Throughout your career, please remember this day and keep the oath in mind. From time to time, take a few minutes to reflect upon it. You were first chosen for your talents and your potential. Now, through hard work, dedication, and a commitment, to working hard and caring for others, you've earned your place as our colleagues. With this, you take on some special responsibilities: to be lifelong learners, to be competent and caring physicians, to care for others as you care for yourself. You'll change this world by using your talents to lead social justice and make better communities and institutions. So 2TO, please stand up now. And I invite the class of 7TO to stand up with them and recite the MD graduation oath, as I do with Dr. Alexander Hukowich from the class of 7TO. I solemnly vow that I will lead my life and practice medicine with integrity and honor.
I will humbly serve my patients and community.
I will honor the profession of medicine and its members. Just as I have learned from those who preceded me, so will I instruct those who follow me in the art and science of medicine.
I will recognize the limits of my knowledge and pursue lifelong learning.
I will contribute to the discovery of knowledge and the improvement of healthcare.
I will collaborate with other health professions for the prevention of illness and the care and comfort of the sick.
I will provide care to those in need without discrimination.
I will hold the health of my patients as my first consideration, above my own interests, and advocate for their well-being.
I will respect the privacy and confidence of my patients.
I will avoid wrongdoing and corruption, and supported by my colleagues, seek always to do what is right.
I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Thank you, faculty members, the registrar, our dean and vice dean, and the incredible class of 2020 and their families for joining us today in what is sure to be the most unconventional convocation ceremony that the University of Toronto Faculty of Medicine has ever seen. We know that this is not what anyone has envisioned as the culmination of 4 strenuous years of blood, sweat, and tears training to become physicians. But we have continually been so impressed with how adaptable and understanding our class has been, not only in the past few months, but all the way through our time here at U of T. It is truly a testament to the professionalism and compassion of this next generation of doctors. While we are sad that we won't have the opportunity to see each other in person, we look forward to all the inevitable times that our paths are bound to cross in the future. We hope that one day soon, we will have the final celebration and send-off that we all deserve. Despite the ceremony being virtual, we hope that today you take the opportunity to reach out to your classmates, your friends, families, and loved ones who have been by your side on this journey to celebrate all that you have achieved. Although this may be a more understated celebration, it does not take away from all of our hard work and sacrifice on our pursuits to become doctors. We did it.
It has been our pleasure serving the class of 2020 as your co-presidents for the past 4 years. We feel privileged to be your student leadership in what feels like an important transitional time for our program and the field of medicine as a whole. We truly believe our class represents the next generation of medicine. Beyond taking on a brand new curriculum largely centered around multimedia technology, we also usher in a new meaning to what a physician should look like. Historically seen as a male-dominated profession, our class is comprised of 60% women. We have numerous LGBTQ2S+ identifying faculty that have paved the way for 2 queer men to be elected as your class presidents. And we finally have our first female Black valedictorian. Beyond representation, our class also embodies a much-needed new era of mutual support and compassion for each other as colleagues. This couldn't have been more clear than in January 2018, following the passing of our classmate, Ashley Ma. No words could describe how deeply this tragedy impacted our class. However, through our mourning, we were able to gain a newfound appreciation for one another. In her memory, we have strived to care for each other as humans first and work together to build a better medical school community. Ashley will forever be an integral member of the class of 2020.
Our 2 speakers today really encompass what it means to challenge the status quo and push the boundaries of what it means to be a medical practitioner in 2020. We are honored to have Dr. James Makokis as our guest speaker today. Dr. Makokis is a Cree family physician serving the Saddle Lake First Nation in northern Alberta. He is a highly regarded member of the Indigenous, LGBTQS+, and medical communities, and is well known for his combined practice of traditional and Western medicine. After obtaining his graduate degree from the University of Toronto, his medical degree from the University of Ottawa, and completing his residency in Aboriginal family medicine in British Columbia, he has gone on to do exceptional and groundbreaking work. His medical practice centers around caring for transgender patients who travel across the world to seek his help. He is also a fearless activist for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to action, as well as a previous advisor to the Governor General in his mission work in Brazil with Dr. Patch Adams. On top of all of these amazing accomplishments, he and his partner won the 7th season of The Amazing Race Canada. We are so fortunate to have him speak to our class today and impart his wisdom as we go on into our residencies.
As we conclude our speech, we have the incredible privilege of introducing our beloved friend and classmate, Chika Stacy Oriuwa, as the Class of 2020 Valedictorian. Despite all of the progress in the Faculty of Medicine, it was shocking to witness that Chika was the sole Black student to be enrolled in our cohort. Rather than being overcome by the institutional and societal biases that led to this reality, Chika used this as fuel to advocate for more diverse representation in medicine so that physicians better reflect the communities they serve. Her accomplishments are many and are not by any means limited to her advocacy work on the Black Medical Students Association, with the Black Student Application Program, as a co-writer on Daffodil, in her artistic pursuits as a spoken word poet and performer, or in being the 5th female and first Black female valedictorian in U of T Medicine's history. We are positive that Chika will continue to challenge society's conception and perceptions of what leadership in medicine looks like, and will usher in a wave of increased recognition for female people of color to be in medicine. We are all so proud to have Chika represent our graduating class and look forward to seeing what our class of new physicians will bring to the field of medicine. We hope you enjoy and celebrate today.
And now we will welcome Dr. James Makokis to give our commencement address.
Danse Uskai Maskiki Wina Wakute, University of Toronto. James Makokis Nitsigasen, Egwa Utinia Unix Koponik, Gehelka Papemotet, Egwa Mistegwa Skikna Pesa Snowy Huin, Unix Koponik Utinia. It's so good to be here today to address your virtual graduation. Who knew that when you started medical school a few years ago that you'd be graduating during a global pandemic and you'd be having a virtual convocation here today. Thank you for inviting me to come and speak with you during your convocation. It's such an honor to be able to do this. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. James Makokis from the Satellite Cree Nation in northeastern Alberta. I'm a family doctor and I practice on a Cree reserve and also have a large transgender health focused practice here in Edmonton as well. And if you do watch The Amazing Race Canada, I competed last year with my husband Anthony Johnson as Team Agamemuk, and spoiler alert, we won, and that was super fun. So today is your grad, which means that it's not only your special day, it's your family's special day, it's your community's special day, it's your friends' special day, because they've all watched you and encouraged you during those difficult times of studying all night, during pre-med, during pre-clerkship, during clerkship, and now as you go into residency as training to be licensed physicians in your next step of your journey. And it's a continuous journey that we're on as doctors. We will never know everything, but we will become more and more comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that's some of the biggest learning that I've had. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to share some lessons that I've learned along the way and also be really truthful and share some things that I wish people would have shared with me as well as a new physician. So I'm going to take the next few minutes to share some stories with you, if that's okay. So I remember my graduation in 2010 at the University of Ottawa, and that was me. I think I was one of the only people wearing moccasins, which made me a little shorter than the people wearing like super cool heels. And my uncle addressed our convocation, and he actually sang one of our Cree ceremonial songs. And it was the first time that an Indigenous person had addressed our convocation. And it was very special to me because he was one of my teachers. Before I started medical school, I fasted and prepared myself for this journey that you all have finished. And so I know how difficult it was and all the things that you've went through. And one of the things that he shared with our graduation class was a very simple but strong message that I will always remember. And that was about our first law that we have as Cree people, which is Sagituk, love one another, and about Sagituin, love. And he encouraged all of us in our medical class to use and remember about the value of love, to love our patients and to love ourselves. And remember that when you're working with people and treating families, if we work from a place of love, that we will always do the right thing. And if we remember what it's like to be in the position of the family and of the patient, that there will always be a good outcome, even though it might be a difficult outcome. So I'd encourage you to think about that and reflect on that and work from that place of Sagituin, loving our patients. The next thing I remember is graduating and then having to drive all the way across Canada to UBC. And when I was in grade 12, my parents helped me to buy a 1998 Volkswagen Jetta. It was red and I loved it. And I was in grade 12 at the time. And at that time I said, this car has to last me until I graduate from medical school. And it's having that vision that even at that age of 16, even though I knew I wanted to be a doctor since I was 4, which I'm sure many of you have that long-term dream and commitment and vision that you work towards so hard and to overcome so many obstacles and challenges to finally be here, really soak in this moment and this day and remember everything about it, all of your memories of medical school, all the crazy studying that you had to do. I remember I studied so much and I didn't like studying in libraries, so I would study in coffee shops like Starbucks and other places like that. And I would study so much that I got calluses on my butt that I actually had to have a study pillow to be able to bring with me to coffee shops. So the only people that are going to understand that are maybe your family, maybe your partner, but only the other people in your class will know all of the hard work that it took to get here. And there probably have been some challenges along the way. You may have started out medical school in a relationship that wasn't able to make it because of the rigor that you have to commit yourself to this profession. And there's very few professions that require this intense studying and dedication that you've done to be able to be a good doctor. You might have dated other people in the medical class and now you're graduating with them and you're married or engaged or all sorts of things and you're on your way to having children. So this is the next phase of your life. And as I journeyed across the country in that 1998 Volkswagen Jetta pulling a U-Haul and could only go 80 kilometers an hour and eventually made it to Victoria like 5 or 6 days later. Ontario is a huge place to drive out of when you can only go 80 kilometers an hour. I started my residency in obstetrics and gynecology. And so I want to share with you another little story about starting residency. So since the age of 4, I wanted to do that. And now I finally had the opportunity to start practicing as a doctor and learning all of the incredible things that you're going to learn in residency. And on my first day of residency, I was going into a delivery room And normally I wear one braid during surgical rotations so that my braids don't fall into somebody's body cavity when we're doing surgery. And I was going in to deliver a little baby. And as I was doing that, I felt my head jerk back, and someone had pulled my braid and prevented me from going into the delivery room. And it was one of the other allied health professionals, and they were like, "Who are you? Why are you going in there? You don't need to be in there." And I said, I'm Dr. Makokis. I'm the resident, and I'm here to deliver this baby. And it was very difficult because it was an overt act of racism. And on my first day of residency, of wanting to do this since I was a little boy, 4 years of age, and having to experience that was such a shock. And if this happens to you, and I hope that it doesn't happen to you, know that you can talk to your program director for support if you're unable to deal with it in the moment, because it can be very challenging. You can talk to your residents association, who are there to support you and advocate for you. And you can also talk to your other resident colleagues. And if you are another resident colleague that sees this sort of stuff happening, it's your job and responsibility to stand up for your colleague and to stand up for what's right. And unfortunately today, in the climate that you're graduating, not only is it a global pandemic, but there's also chaos in the world. And we know what that looks like in terms of racial tensions and what's happening in the United States. And that continues to happen across the world, and which you will see. And when that does happen, it's important for us to stand together, mamohkamatuk, for us to work together, to help one another and seek justice wherever it is, and however difficult it is, for us to stand beside each other and for us to stand beside our patients and advocate for them for social justice. And I wanted to talk about this. So this is the treaty flag for Treaty 6, Kitsiasu Tamawan Nugutoasik, which is talking about the great promise of Treaty Number 6, which was signed and agreed to by my ancestors in 1876 in the area that's now known as Saskatchewan. And in that promise, Indigenous people and non-Indigenous people agreed to live on this island, Turtle Island, in peace and friendship. And for us to understand each other, for us to understand our medical systems, for us to understand our education systems and learn about each other, for us to understand about our culture and languages and all of the things that make us special and unique, and that we could share in that, and we could share in this land. And one of the things that, we used and we agreed to was using our own medicine. So this is sweetgrass, wikask, which represents the value of kindness. And sweetgrass is a plant that grows, and we burn it from this end and use the smoke to purify us and cleanse and heal. And it's a medicine. And we have to remember as doctors that the first medicine, the first medical system of this continent is Indigenous medicines. And we use those medicines to help the newcomers when they came here and they were sick, and learning how to survive here on this land. And as doctors, especially in the era of truth and reconciliation, we need to do our best to ensure that Indigenous people have access to our own medicines in hospitals and clinics and the emergency room and healing practices as well, because we never agreed to give those up. We always agreed to have them, and in fact, we enshrined that in our Treaty Number 6 in the Medicine Chest Clause in 1876, which ensured that we have access to healthcare, Western healthcare, Western medicine, like we're all practicing, but also that we continue to have access to our own healthcare system, our own medicines. And whenever you have an opportunity to advocate for that in your role as residents, in terms of equity and inclusion and all of the amazing things that we can do for people for social justice, please do that, because you will make such an important difference in people's lives if you are to do that. I wanted to talk about one last thing before I go. And I'm going to say residency is hard AF. Like, nobody else is going to have to stay up as long as you are going to have to do. And see the things that you are going to have to do, or do the things that you're going to have to do. And sometimes, it can just be plain difficult. And so at the end of residency, after I had done all this and I was excited to return home to work finally, we had to write our licensing exams. And this is a very difficult thing for us to talk about, is failure. And I always look at failure as an opportunity to learn more and reflect. And it took me 3 times to pass my licensing exam. The first 2 times I failed both of the written portion and passed the practical portion. And I finally realized that I was answering the questions wrong. And it was through the help of podcasts by Dr. Michael Curlew and listening to him, who's an amazing family doctor from Northern Ontario, that I was able to realize what I was doing wrong and finally passed. So I want you to know that if this does happen to you, that it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. And it just may need an adjustment in terms of how you're answering a question or how you're looking at it. And something is more right than what you put. And that's okay. And we need to support each other as colleagues when this happens. So the last thing that I wanted to share and reflect on is, after you're all done, what kind of life do you want to live? And this is something that I ask myself every day, because it's so easy as a new doctor to get pulled in all sorts of directions, to be on different committees and to do research and to do speaking and to do teaching and to practice, and trying to catch up with all of those things that you've put on hold for all of these years, whether that's family or purchasing a home or purchasing a vehicle and paying off debt and all of these things. What kind of life do you want to live? How much time do you want to spend with your family? How much time do you want to spend with your friends? How are you going to look after yourself? How are you going to do self-care? And whatever that is, always prioritize that. Always prioritize the time with your family, your friends, your partner, because there will always be work there. You'll always be able to work. But there are special moments that you will never have the chance to have again. So I just wanted to leave you with one final reflection, and that's our team name, which is Team Agamemuk, which we use on the Amazing Race Canada. And when times are tough, if you're digging clams and the ocean is coming in and you're not able to find the butter clams that you're able to do, or if you're not able to find the Canadian symbol on a Northwest Territories diamond, always remember, never give up, keep going, and iwi help one another. So congratulations on this special day. I'm so excited to meet you and practice with you, hopefully at some point in the future. If you're ever in Alberta and Treaty 6, please stop in my clinic, and I'd love to see you and have you and possibly supervise with you. Thank you. Congratulations.
My name is Dr. Etisham Niazi, and I'm the Vice Chair of Education for the Department of Anesthesia at the University of Toronto. Today, I am honored to present the award for anesthesia. The Dr. Evelyn Bateman Award is granted to the student for the highest standard of academic performance in anesthesia. This year's recipient is Miss Erica Haskins.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline James, Division Director for Endocrinology and Metabolism in the Department of Medicine, and I'm presenting the Endocrine Society Medical Student Achievement Award for exceptional ability and interest in endocrinology to Su Yun Shin.
My name is Dr. David Tannenbaum, Interim Chair of the Department of Family and Community Medicine. The first award is the Dr. George K. Balkos Memorial Award for Excellence in Family Medicine, for excellence and for undertaking a residency in family medicine. The winner, Albert Georgita. The Dr. E. Ann Beatty Award, awarded to the student who best demonstrates the personal and professional qualities of Dr. Beatty, and who is undertaking a residency in family and community medicine. The winner, Adam Katz. The Dr. Saul Kapp Scholarship for Special Interest and Achievement in Family Medicine. The winner, Paulina Myrox. The Sophie Harnick Memorial Prize for Greatest Human Understanding and Responsibility for the Welfare of Patients. The winner, Kathleen Crosby. The Dr. N. Levine Award in Family and Community Medicine for keen interest and outstanding performance in family and community medicine. The winner, David Weiler. The Gaynor Dawn Thompson Morrow Memorial Scholarship for interest and proficiency in family medicine during the clerkship. The winner, Avi Naidu. The Betty Stewart Sissom Award for Greatest Human Understanding and Care for the Welfare and Health of Patients. The winner, Brittany Chow. The Pat and Doug Robertson Toronto Eglinton Rotary Award for Family Medicine for pursuing a residency in family medicine and has a strong commitment to generalist practice in a community setting. The winner, Robert Stevens. The DFCM 50th Anniversary Dr. Reg L. Perkin Undergraduate Award. This named award is in honor of the 50th anniversary of the department that Dr. Perkin founded. It's for intent to specialize in family medicine and for significant contribution to volunteering, community activism, arts, music, or sport. And the winner, Claire Rollins.
Hello, my name is Dr. Richard Ehrlich. I'm a 1986 graduate from U of T, Faculty of Dentistry, and I'm the son of the late Dr. Barry Ehrlich. The Dr. Barry Ehrlich Memorial Scholarship for strong interest in family medicine and demonstrated interest and commitment to patient care and learning, Laura McQuaig.
Hello, I'm Erica Abner, the Faculty Lead for Ethics and Professionalism for the MD program, and today I'm pleased to be able to present 2 awards. The first award is the Dr. George K. Balkos Memorial Scholarship for Excellence in Bioethics, and that award goes to Chika, Stacy, Oriuwa. The second award is the Harry and Roberta Gottlieb Scholarship in Laboratory Medicine and Pathobiology. For excellence in laboratory medicine and pathobiology, that award goes to Amanda Kahn.
Hello, my name is Gillian Hawker, and I'm the chair of the Department of Medicine at the University of Toronto. It's my privilege to present the Internal Medicine Awards. The first is the Joseph Aiken 3T3 Award in Medicine for excellence in the field of cardiology. This award goes to Erica Shenfield. The Dr. Fred Douglas Memorial Award for Excellence in Respiratory Diseases goes to Catherine Matolchi. The Dr. Henry and Helen Goldenberg Hematology Award for high academic standing, demonstrated interest in hematology, and for pursuing a career in internal medicine goes to Stephanie Nevinson. The Dr. Mitchell Cohen Scholarship for overall honor standing and high standing in medicine goes to Shahab Sarwar. The Dr. Murray Shafran Scholarship for high standing in internal medicine with an interest in respiratory diseases goes to Fitza Manzoor. The KJR or Kager Whiteman Award in Internal Medicine for high standing in internal medicine goes to Siwa Samuel Chan.
I am Anita Balakrishna, Professor Emeritus, Division of Infectious Diseases, Department of Medicine. It is my pleasure to present the Anita Balakrishna Award for sound academic standing and for pursuing a residency in internal medicine at a Canadian institution. This year's award goes to Orly Poldre.
My name is Vikram Ravindran. I am an alumnus of the University of Toronto. The T. Gopal Krishna and T. Nagabhushanam Award was established in memory of my grandparents. On behalf of my mother, Dr. Girija Ravindran, I am presenting this award to a graduating medical student with a special interest in neurology and neurological topics in research and clinical services. This year's recipient of the T. Gopal Krishna and T. Nagabhushanam Award is Kathy Meng-Fei Lee.
I would like to present the Dr. Jacob Goldstein Scholarship in Obstetrics and Gynecology for greatest proficiency in obstetrics and gynecology to Saipan Ala-Difa. I would like to present the Henry Memorial Scholarship for high standing in obstetrics and gynecology to Mei Ni Belzil. I'd like to present the Dr. Sydney M. and Rosalind Tobin Scholarship in Obstetrics and Gynecology for demonstrated compassion and academic excellence in obstetrics and gynecology to Claire Stanley. And finally, I'd like to present the Dr. Samuel and Evelyn Liebrack Award in Obstetrics and Gynecology for high academic standing in obstetrics and gynecology to Jordan Lewis.
That over there is Frederick R. Papson, for whom this award is named. I'm his son. I'm one of the otolaryngologists at Sick Kids. He would have loved this whole idea of remote Zoom awards because he liked the excitement. He would have loved this and found something amusing about this whole COVID era that we're living through. In any case, it's my honor to present the Dr. Frederick R. Papson Award for high academic standing in obstetrics and gynecology and demonstrated extracurricular accomplishments at the university to Alexandra Davidson.
My name is Sharif El Defraoui. I'm the Chair of Ophthalmology and Vision Sciences here at the University of Toronto, and I'm really pleased to be announcing the Ophthalmology Awards this year. The first award is the Sidney Aiken 2T9 Scholarship, and it's for demonstrated excellence in the field of ophthalmology, and this year it goes to Ryan Mason. Our next award is the Mark Cohen Ophthalmology Award, and it goes to that individual that is pursuing a residency in ophthalmology and shows special promise to be an outstanding clinician. And this year's award goes to Austin Herrera. The last award is the Wilkinson Scholarship, and the Wilkinson Scholarship recognizes achievement in ophthalmology with the intent of that individual to specialize in the field. And this year's award goes to Tariq bin Yamin.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ian Witterick, Professor and Chair of the Department of Otolaryngology, Head and Neck Surgery at the University of Toronto. It's my distinct pleasure to be able to introduce the Dr. Hugh Barber Award in Otolaryngology. This is for demonstrated excellence and interest in otolaryngology. The winner is Justine Philfields. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Dr. Meredith Irwin, the new Chair of Pediatrics, and I am here today to present the Dr. Roy Simpson Scholarship in Pediatrics, which is given for special interest and achievement in pediatrics. This year we have 3 award winners. They are Marisa D'Souza, Carissa Collier, and Mariam Naguib.
My name is Benoit Molsant, and I'm the Labatt Family Chair of the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Toronto. Today, it's my great pleasure to announce the Psychiatry Awards. Dr. Benjamin W. Appleton Prize in Psychiatry for Special Interest and Achievement in Psychiatry, Claire Stanley. Dr. Stan Kushner Memorial Award for Demonstrated Special Interest and Achievement in the Field of Psychiatry, Chika, Oriuwa. Dr. Samuel Stein Memorial Award for Demonstrated Excellence in Therapeutic Communication, Catherine Matolchi. Dr. Jean Wasserman Wolfman Prize in Child Psychiatry for Excellence in the Field of Child Psychiatry, Kaiwen Song.
Hi, I'm Focan Leung, a family physician and the director of the Health and Community Curriculum. The D.V. Vacuole Memorial Award is given for high standing and demonstrated interest in community health. And this year, the D.V. Vacuole Memorial Award is awarded to Pamela Ng.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Ian Johnson. I'm a retired public health physician and associate professor with the Dalla Lana School of Public Health. I used to teach undergraduate medicine for a number of years. It is my honor to announce the two winners of the Dr. Ian Johnson Access to Excellence Award for commitment to medical practice in suburban or rural communities outside of an urban center. The two winners this year are Fatima Habib, Aidan McFarland.
My name is Dr. Elsie Wynn. I'm an associate professor and medical imaging theme lead. The Dr. Lewis R. Harnick Memorial Award for high academic standing in third and fourth year with specific interest and aptitude in diagnostic radiology goes to Benjamin Morgan. The Dr. Gagan Ahuja Memorial Award for academic excellence, student leadership, and an interest in radiology goes to Sandra Lizette.
My name is Jim Rutka, and I'm the chair of the Department of Surgery at the University of Toronto, and it gives me great pleasure to announce these awards in the Department of Surgery for the MD program. The Doctors Gross and Taylor Award for demonstrated interest in and for pursuing a residency in orthopedic surgery, and the Chappelle Prize in Surgery for Best Student in Surgery goes to Sam Keshin. The Dr. I. Ritz Scholarship for high academic standing and for individuals pursuing residencies in urology to Jethro Kwong and Min Jun Lee. The Chester William Ferrier MD Scholarship Award for outstanding achievements in the surgery rotation in clerkship. This award goes to Alexander Landry. The Dr. Kenzie Takahashi Scholarship in Medicine and Surgery for high standing in medicine and surgery in clerkship. This award goes to Teresa Ziegler. The Irving Heward Cameron Undergraduate Scholarship in Surgery for fourth highest standing, Teresa Ziegler. For third highest standing, Laura McQuaig. For second highest standing, Claire Stanley. And for highest standing, Tushima Shakari.
Hello, my name is Barbara Track, and I have the pleasure of presenting the Dr. and Mrs. A.A. Track Scholarship for Honors Standing in Surgery and Clerkship to Michael Alfasi.
My name is Diana Ali D'Souza. I retired from the Office of Health Professions Student Affairs as Senior Officer of Service Learning, Community Partnerships, and Student Life. It has been an honor and privilege to have served the Faculty of Medicine in many capacities over 38 years with distinction. Diana Ali Award, awarded to a student who has displayed outstanding commitment to enhancing student life and community outreach in all 4 years of medical school. Chika, Stacy, Oriuwa.
Hi, I'm Sarah McLennan, the Director of the Mississauga Academy of Medicine and an emergency physician. The 0T1 Jacqueline Helen Perry Memorial Scholarship for Humanitarianism and Compassionate Interactions with Patients and Their Families and Demonstrated Interest in Rural Medicine. Yamna Ali.
Hello, I'm Gina Piliotis. I'm the Peters Boyd Academy Director, and I'm very pleased to award the Dr. Antonio Okena Carmona Memorial Award for demonstrated interest in nutrition and a desire to incorporate nutrition for disease prevention into clinical practice to Richard Yu Wu. And I'm very pleased to award the Kathleen Chambers Memorial Award, awarded to a female student who has made a major contribution to the faculty and to the university, to Sophia Wynn.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Katina Tzanetos and I'm the Director for the Whiteman Barris Academy. It's my absolute pleasure to present this year's Dr. Anna Jarvis Award for Outstanding Contribution to Student Life. This award honors a graduating student who promotes collegiality amongst classmates, as evidenced by one heroic act of kindness or a series of sustained acts. The very worthy recipient of this year's award is Avi Naidu.
Hi everyone, my name is Alison Freeland and I am the Regional Associate Dean of Education at the Faculty of Medicine's Mississauga campus. First, let me extend a huge congratulations to all our graduates, and I'm really honored to be here today to present the Exodus Scholarship Award. This scholarship is given to a student who has contributed to and been involved in all facets of medical student life during their 4 years with the MD program. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipient, Jethro Kwong.
I'm Glendon Tate, Director of Student Assessment. The Class of 2006 Toronto Notes Award for Outstanding Extracurricular Dedication goes to Justin Boyle. The William V. Hall Scholarship for Good Academic Standing and Honor to the Medical School through an Outstanding Actor Accomplishment goes to Orly Poldre.
Good afternoon. My name is David Latter, and I'm a cardiac surgeon at St. Michael's Hospital. I'm also the Director of Admissions for the Faculty of Medicine. It's an honor for me to be able to announce 6 winners of the Mary Cassidy Awards. The Mary Cassidy Awards are given to students in recognition of their outstanding contribution to extracurricular activities in the Faculty of Medicine. The award winners are Alexander Abdafar, Michael Elfassi, Nayantara Ghosh, Cole Krensky, Jordan Lewis, and Victoria Redmond.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tony Pignatello, Associate Dean of Health Professions Student Affairs. I'm very pleased to announce additional recipients of the Mary L. Cassidy Award in recognition of outstanding contribution to extracurricular activities in the Faculty of Medicine. And the recipients are Shima Shakuri, Kevin Tsai, Kayla Sliskovic, Judy Trong, Nivathan Vela, and Yezarni Wynn.
Hello, my name is Marcus Law. I'm the Director of Foundations of the AMD program. I would like to present the Graduating Class Award, awarded to the valedictorian chosen by the graduating class, and the Aesculapian Bowl. The Aesculapian Bowl was purchased by the Aesculapian Club on the occasion of its silver anniversary in 1934. The bowl is engraved with the names of all presidents of the club from 1934 to 2011. The bowl was presented to the Faculty of Medicine to be awarded to the valedictorian whose name and year of graduation has been engraved on the bowl and will have virtual possession of it for the duration of a year. The recipient this year is Chika Stacy Oriuwa. Congratulations.
I'm David McKnight, President of the Medical Alumni Association. As you have seen, thanks to the generosity of medical alumni who have made donations and bequests to the Medical Alumni Association, we are able to provide a number of awards every year. It is my pleasure to announce the awards presented to faculty and staff. Each year, the recipients of these awards are selected by the graduating class. The John Bradley Memorial Award is for demonstrated strong humanitarian and altruistic qualities, a commitment to generalist practice, and a sustained commitment to peer mentorship and support through medical school. Jasmine Waslowski. Now awards sponsored by the Medical Alumni Association. The Samuel J. Straight Award for Internal Medicine, for high standing in internal medicine, Kennedy Meyer. The Dr. Carl Whitus 3T6 Memorial Prize in Pediatrics for high standing and interest in pediatrics, Eliza Pope. The Dr. Irvin Kelly Gaulish 5T7 Memorial Award in Ophthalmology for demonstrated interest in the field of ophthalmology through clinical or research participation, Tony Shi-Cheng Jin. The Dr. Robert P. Orange Memorial Prize for leadership qualities and commitment to extracurricular activities in the faculty and the university, Tony Shi-Cheng Jin. The Delbert S. Hoare 2T8 MAA Award for outstanding contribution to graduate medical education, Ashita Kapoor. The Medical Alumni Association Scholarship for General High Standing in the program, Eva Bain and Teresa Ziegler. Weber Niman MAA Prize in Neurology for special interest in neurology and neurological topics in research and clinical services, Jamie Kazis. The Lund Family MAA Undergraduate Medical Student Award for demonstrated community leadership in philanthropy, Pamela Ung. The Dr. Isaac Jack Markins 48 MAA Award for Academic Excellence, Mayni Belzil. 5T7 Memorial Dr. Janice Hoffman MAA Award in Radiology for Excellence in Radiology, Benjamin Morgan. The Harris Family MAA Award in Oncology for Excellence in and Intent to Specialize in Oncology, Armand Zareshkian. Barbara M. Hardy Memorial MAA Award in General Surgery for Excellence and Intent to Specialize in General Surgery, Teresa Ziegler. The S. Nimu Ganguly Family MAA Award in Diagnostic Medical Imaging for excellence in the field of diagnostic and medical imaging through research or clinical electives, Sorab Tofigi.
My name is Susan Schneeweiss. I'm the Associate Dean of Continuing Professional Development in the Faculty of Medicine. The Dr. Ellen Micco Fellowship, highest standing in 3rd year and honor standing in 4th year, and the Dr. Herbert Alexander Bruce Medal, honors in 4th year and highest aggregate marks in anatomy and surgery. Claire Stanley.
My name is Stacy Bernstein, and I'm the Clerkship Director at the University of Toronto. I am pleased to present the Dr. Arthur V. Brown Endowment Fund for highest standing during the clerkship and the Cody Silver Medal for the 3rd highest standing in the medical program to Helen Jennings. I'm pleased to present the Cody Silver Medal for the 2nd highest standing in the medical program to Orly Bogle. I am pleased to present the Cody Gold Medal and Dr. Jagdish K. Sidhu and Sergeant K. Sidhu Gold Medal Award for the highest standing in the medical program to Claire Stanley.
My name is Dr. Nicola Jones, and I'm the Director of the Integrated Physician Scientist Training Program at the University of Toronto. Today it's my great privilege to recognize this year's graduates of the combined MD-PhD program. Ian Day, Kyle Eastwood, Amanda Kahn, June Kim, Natasha Lane, Richard Yu Wu.
I'm David McKnight, President of the Medical Alumni Association. As you have seen, thanks to the generosity of medical alumni who have made donations and bequests to the Medical Alumni Association, we are able to provide a number of awards every year. It is my pleasure to announce the awards presented to faculty and staff. Each year, the recipients of these awards are selected by the graduating class. The Class of 1989 Medical Alumni Award is presented to a faculty member for acting as a role model for and displaying outstanding compassion, understanding, and guidance to undergraduate medical students. The recipient is Dr. Sitha Radhakrishnan. The David Emerly Memorial Award was established by MEDS 92 to recognize a faculty or staff member for outstanding contribution to the undergraduate medical experience by being a role model, showing compassion, or displaying understanding and guidance to undergraduate medical students. The recipient is Dr. David Wong. The Dr. E. Mary Hollington Teaching Award for Excellence in Preclinical or Basic Science Teaching is presented to a faculty member who has taught with distinction in the preclinical or basic science portion of the MD degree. The recipient is Dr. Susanna Cheng. The Dr. E. Mary Hollington Teaching Award for Excellence in Clinical Teaching is presented to a faculty member who has demonstrated excellence in the clinical teaching in the 3rd or 4th medical years. The recipient is Dr. Karthika Devarajan. The Dean A.L. Shute Silver Shovel Award is in recognition of excellence in lecturing through the clinical years of the medical school program. It actually is a silver shovel. The recipient is Dr. Susan Potanen.
My name is Dr. Nicola Jones, and I'm the Director of the Integrated Physician Scientist Training Program at the University of Toronto. Today, we celebrate milestones and accomplishments. On behalf of the MD-PhD program, I would like to recognize the MD-PhD students who began their journey at the same time as this year's graduating MD class. They're currently in the PhD portion of their 8-year program. We celebrate this significant milestone and acknowledge them as MPs for this achievement. Congratulations to each of you.
And now we would like to introduce Chika Stacy Oriuwa as the Class of 2020 Valedictorian.
Good morning. Dean Young, Vice Dean Houston, esteemed professors, physicians, and faculty members, mentors, family, friends, and especially my fellow graduating class of physicians at the University of Toronto, Faculty of Medicine, Class of 2020. I am Chika Stacy Oriuwa, and I have the absolute honor of being the valedictorian of our graduating class here at U of T. I'd like to start by thanking you, my fellow graduates, for the opportunity to share my address during what will be the final time that we convene before our respective journeys take flight. I'd like to start by addressing the elephant in the room. Whether you're watching this speech from the comfort of your bed or around the dining room table with your family, I am sure that we all envision the day that we finally became medical doctors to look and feel a little differently than it does right now. But if I may, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on what it means to be a doctor. As physicians, we are asked to make sense of our patients' stories. Rarely does a patient present to us with a clinical picture that fits beautifully with what we learned in our textbooks. We are often called to synthesize complex information into a coherent narrative to formulate a differential diagnosis and approach to treatment. We are asked to make sense of the difficulty in our patients' lives. We are, in essence, sense makers. But what do we do when it stops making sense? When the patient who has been stable for years relapses, when the psychosis returns, or when the cancer metastasizes? What do we do when things don't go as planned and we are no longer the sense makers? In these moments, we should remember that the most important skill that we possess is not our ability to make sense of things, but our ability to connect, remain human, and bring comfort. Or as Hippocrates is thought to have said, cure sometimes, treat often, comfort always. It is my hope that in sharing my parting words, I am able to instill in us a measure of comfort despite the unexpected turn. When we envisioned our graduation day, we expected to don our caps and gowns, walk confidently across the stage as we get our degrees in Convocation Hall, while our family and friends cheer through our names being called after being reminded by our faculty to please hold their applause until the end. We live for these moments of unbridled joy and to bask in the pride of completion and accomplishment. But things don't always go as planned. And while I know it feels a little different, a little incomplete, I say that today is still our day. And on this day, we become doctors. And non-traditional celebration and all, this achievement is a monumentous one. One of my personal heroes is a former First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama. In her memoir, she wrote, "If you don't get out there and define yourself, you'll be quickly and inaccurately defined by others." And so, as we pause to reflect on the past 4 years and ponder on the next, perhaps we should ask, how have we defined ourselves, and how will we continue to do so as physicians in this world? Reflexively, from our time at Portfolio, I know many of us are itching to say that we'll be scholars, communicators, and health experts. But for one moment, let's take a step back, put away our portfolio submissions, and take a moment to really think about it. 4 years ago, we were the stem cells in the foundation curriculum petri dish. We started our medical education at the same institution where Banting and Best discovered insulin, and where we discovered how to learn about ourselves, medicine, and the ever-changing world around us. We confronted our mistakes, failures, and setbacks. We leaned into what sparked our interest and what coaxed the flames of our passion. We displayed an insatiable curiosity for knowledge and a commitment to learning. We prepared for mastery exams every few weeks, and despite the sheer exhaustion, we were able to find comedic relief in brilliantly crafted memes for every situation in which we found ourselves. I can confidently say that we laughed as much as we learned, and we cared for each other. And that is how we got through the last 4 years. We shared our notes, our artistic talents, our secrets, our frustrations, our disbelief, our joys, but also our tragedies. We mourned upon learning of the passing of one of our own, Ashley Maw, while coming together and finding a way to keep strong, keep her memory alive, and keep moving forward. When we hit the wards in 2018, we were eager clinical clerks ready to take care of our patients, leave a lasting impression on preceptors, and apply the knowledge that we had accrued. With a pager in one hand and a stethoscope in the other, we stood tall and ready to face any obstacles that clerkship can throw at us, including the dreaded first time that we had to percuss a lung bass in front of our preceptor. We learned about the fragility of life as we ushered it into this world and held its hand on the way out. We sat with patients as we delivered terminal diagnoses and parents as they heard their child's heartbeat for the first time. On many occasions, we stayed awake for 30-hour stretches and at points broke down when the weight of expectations, exhaustion, and uncertainty proved too heavy to bear. It was in these circumstances that we found each other and came together, like we always have. These moments defined our clerkship, but how have we defined ourselves along the way? My journey through medical school has been somewhat unconventional. It has been an iterative process of being inaccurately defined by others and having to continuously redefine myself. When I started medical school 4 years ago, I was surprised to find that in our class of 259, I stood as the sole Black student. And despite taking immense pride in being a woman of color in a space where we are often unseen, I could not have imagined the extent to which my identity and story would be the driving force of my advocacy and the platform upon which I strove for change. One of my earliest defining moments was a few years before I started medical school, when a border officer accused me of lying about having aspirations of becoming a physician. His word stayed with me for years, as I faced invalidations about my experience as a woman of color in medicine. I remembered his words when a patient asked me to leave the room because they could not believe that the only Black person in the space was also training to become a doctor. I did not want my story to be written by others. I did not want to be inaccurately defined on my own journey, and I knew that I had to reclaim my narrative. In my first year of medicine, I was presented with the opportunity to be the ambassador of the Black Student Application Program at U of T, an initiative developed by the faculty in partnership with the Black community in response to the chronically low number of Black students admitted to the program. However, this also meant going public with my experiences of isolation and encountering discrimination. I knew that I was uniquely positioned to speak truthfully on this issue. But I was worried. Actually, I was terrified. I was cautioned that institutions do not like people who challenge the status quo, that I could be jeopardizing a spot in residency or future career opportunities. For me, there was this ever-present tension between my advocacy and my wanting to be accepted. I mention this because I want to challenge the notion that being an advocate and living in your authentic truth is mutually exclusive from belonging. Through seeking counsel with mentors, family, and friends, I was empowered to move forward and stand by my conviction to enhance diversity and inclusive practices within medicine and beyond. These decisions, which may seem trivial in hindsight, but were terrifying at the time, are the moments by which I now define myself. When I wrote my first syndicated article detailing my experiences and ideas for change, I faced a torrent of online bigotry, threats, and racism. Without missing a beat, my classmates were there to defend me, stand alongside me as allies, and shoulder me as I continued my journey. When I was providing a seminar, I had a resident comment that although they admired my bravery and voice, they would have never done what I was doing because it was too risky, and they didn't think that the system would be accepting of what I had to say. It was then that I was reminded by my mentors that there was a greater risk in staying silent. Advocacy was a form of self-preservation when there are no other options. When I gave my keynote speech at Women's College Hospital on International Women's Day in 2018, as I looked out to a sea of mostly strangers, I saw several seats occupied by my fellow classmates, and the familiar smiles embolden me to speak confidently. On a journey that has been marked by moments of otherness, I learned that I belong to this incredible, protective family that we call 2TOs. So, to answer my own question, I define myself in the last 4 years through understanding and hopefully demonstrating that there is a power in narrative and in vulnerability. With a community to stand behind you and a mentor to guide you, you can take the risks that might move mountains. And I've witnessed many of my classmates do the same. Between Adam taking the front page in the newspaper as a medical student working in the same hospital where he was once a premature baby fighting for his life, to Justine winning a national student scholarship in family medicine, Nayantara, Justin, and Liz producing and directing Daffodil the Musical, and those of us who procured PPE for frontline workers during a pandemic and achieving our lifelong goals and dreams. I've learned that if it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a nation to train a doctor. So for this, I want to take a moment to thank those without whom we would not be here today. First, I want to thank our loved ones for supporting us on this path to medicine, believing in our dreams, encouraging us when we felt defeated, and celebrating our wins. Thank you for being our anchor and grounding us in who we were when we often lost sight of the bigger picture. To our patients, thank you for trusting us to heal you, learn medicine through you, and patiently tolerating us attempting to elicit the brachioradialis reflex for the 5th time. You taught us more about life than we ever could have imagined in these 4 years. To our faculty, staff, and preceptors, thank you for being our lighthouse when the choppy waves of medicine carried us far from the shore. For creating an inclusive environment where we could learn without judgment and explore our curiosity without reservation. You've been there to not only support our education, but also help us find meaning throughout the journey and guided us to the specialty that we will now call home. Our gratitude to all of you is endless. And to my fellow graduates, to this cohort of brilliant physicians with boundless potential, to the people who are quickest at thinking of a differential, who have finally earned the credential of MD. We had a vision of 2020, and though the picture didn't quite turn out as clear as we thought it would be, we remained a class of visionaries, those with the foresight to define themselves in this world, who raised their arms with fists curled in the face of injustice. As our patients entrust us with their lives, the time has officially arrived for us to rise to the occasion. So here is to the stem cells, to the first generation to graduate from the curriculum of foundations. We waded into uncertain waters, the sons and daughters of hope, equipped with knowledge, compassion, and our stethoscopes. We now find ourselves, 4 years later, starting residency in the face of an uncertainty that is much greater. Once again, wading into uncharted territory. Maybe it's a defining part of our story to be the class who is familiar with moving forward despite the unknown. We have shown that we are capable of doing what has not been done before. We are the class who will explore the stones yet unturned. Here is to the innovators, waymakers, and healers who've been mentored by some of the greatest leaders in medicine. At an institution that continues to redefine excellence, we are ready to take the leap into the next chapter of our lives. And on the other side awaits personal and professional celebration, anniversaries, weddings, rare diagnoses, and successful resuscitations. And though we will encounter a difficult road ahead, we are united by the threads of endurance and tenacity. Within us lies the capacity to change the world. To my fellow graduates at the University of Toronto, Faculty of Medicine, Class of 2020, congratulations, we did it. Thank you for this incredible honor, and I look forward to seeing how our journeys unfold.
Hello, I'm David McKnight, President of the Medical Alumni Association of the University of Toronto, the MAA. The MAA has been operating since 1890. Through donations from generous graduates and other donors, it carries out a program of support for medical students through awards, bursaries, grants, and interest-free loans. Many of the graduates of the class of 2020 have benefited from this program and you have heard many awards announced today. All of the graduates of the MD program at the U of T are members of the MAA. It is a great pleasure to welcome the class of 2020 as the newest members. Congratulations and welcome. The MAA has a tradition of asking a member of the 50-year anniversary class to address the graduating class. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Alexander Hukowich, class of 70. Dr. Hukowich practiced family medicine in South Porcupine, Ontario, and served as medical officer of health for several public health units in Eastern Ontario. He is now a coroner for the County of Northumberland. Dr. Hukowich.
Let me first say what an honor it is for me to address this audience and provide congratulations from the class of 1970 to the graduating class of 2020. This is the year when we get it all right, as we know the 2020 vision is perfect. The congratulations I give is in recognition of the tremendous amount of work you have done so far to reach this position in your lives. But it is very much one of those good news, bad news stories. The good news is that you have now made it this far, which I am certain is a great joy and relief to your parents and other loved ones. The bad news is that the hard work is far from over. If there is one thing I have learned in the 50 years since my graduation, the three things I have needed a license for, driving, marriage, and medicine, I learned the activities after, not before obtaining the license. It is very much like construction. The house gets built after you get the permit. So this day is but a beginning, albeit a very happy and joyous beginning, and a beginning with so much promise before you. I have been thinking about the changes in the past 50 years. When I started in practice, if you had a heart attack and survived, you would be in bed in hospital for the next 6 weeks. Now, with no complications, you are out of bed the next day and have a long list of potential treatments available to you. After delivery, you would be in hospital for a week. Now you are rarely there for more than a day, although I am certain you might enjoy a few days of rest. The fatality rate from childhood cancers was high, and now the cure rate is over 80%. Few organs apart from kidneys were transplantable, and now hearts, livers, lungs, even faces are done. However, the last 50 years also saw the new diseases of AIDS, West Nile virus, Zika virus, SARS, MERS, and now COVID-19. While smallpox has been eliminated, and I have not had to provide this immunization in decades, measles, which we thought we could also eliminate, has now made a resurgence because of the unwillingness of some parents to immunize their children. There is an ebb and flow to medicine. It, like other careers, sits at the intersection of science and human nature, which can make for difficult times. There are advances and times of terrible turmoil as now, but it is never boring. So on behalf of my classmates from 1970 to the class of 2020, the best, and may your 50 years be as fulfilling as our last 50.
Honored members of the graduating class of 2020, it is a great privilege to send greetings to you on behalf of the 41,000 members of the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario. I'm Peeter Poldre, the immediate past president of the college and a proud University of Toronto graduate myself. Although today's ceremony regrettably must be conducted virtually, in reality we recognize that your hard work and sacrifice are being rewarded, as from this day forward you will be recognized as doctor. These last several months have seen the world confront a daunting enemy. As you enter the next phase of your career, an unprecedented challenge confronts our profession. In the past, it was understood that your ongoing learning would be closely related to caring for patients, without considering how that caring would occur. You will be the first cohort of new medical professionals in history to learn, along with your teachers and mentors, about the need for delicate balancing of patient care between virtual and in-person. Irrespective of the modality, patients will place their faith and trust in you. All our patients share a fundamental vulnerability, that of their health-related anxiety, stress, pain, disability, or disease. As detached as the video screen or the audio connection may seem, It is now vitally important that you convey caring and compassion through what and how you interact with patients, especially if virtually. You will also have to balance your task as a resident with the equally important task of taking care of yourself, your own health, both physical and mental, as well as the health of your relationships with those who continue to support you. I'm honored to welcome you to the profession of medicine. Thank you.
Two TOs. Please don't say this to anyone I graduated with, but I always secretly thought your class was like way cooler than mine. And it really comes as no surprise that in the entire history of medicine at U of T, yours is the first class to graduate in front of a computer screen. But I also couldn't think of any other class that could have pulled this off except for yours. It's incredible. You lots are trailblazers from start to finish. You're bold shakers of the status quo, and I've always admired that about your group. The fact that you've asked me as a resident and a recent graduate to share a few words of wisdom with you is such an honor. But it's also such a striking reminder of how quickly time passes. Your journey through medical school was like that, wasn't it? You took a deep, deep breath, and by the time you exhaled, it was already over. I'm here to tell you that residency is exactly like that. So it's important that you learn to be deliberate with time. Leave room for slowness. Be mindful. Be attentive. Be reflective. Create space to think about how each week, each month, each rotation is affecting you, how it's molding you as a physician, what you want to learn, what you don't want to learn. Do not be passive with your time in your residency unless it'll just whisk right by. Use humor as a coping mechanism for when things are stressful. I promise you, jokes are like 10 times funnier at 3 in the morning. Laugh with patients, laugh with nurses, laugh with your attending. There's an MD in front of your name now, so that makes your actions and choices and words weigh so much more. Medical students will look to you for guidance. Allied staff will actually care about what you have to say at rounds. Members of the wider community will seek you out for your opinion. It is important to use this added weight in service of what is good. Don't stop at being professional. Go further and be kind. Be kind to your patients. Be kind to the people that you work with. And most obviously, but yet most frequently ignored, be kind to yourselves. Residency is an amazing journey. It is brutal, but it's also beautiful. And I have no doubt that success awaits you. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Isaac Bogoch. I'm an infectious diseases physician and general internist based out of the Toronto General Hospital. And I just wanted to congratulate everyone on graduating medical school. It's an interesting time to be graduating medical school and starting residency. But, it's an incredible opportunity. Of course, we know of the hardships that COVID-19 has caused Canada and the world. But what an incredible time to start your first year of residency. Doesn't matter what program you're in, doesn't matter what you're doing or where you're going, this is going to significantly impact the next year. And I really hope you take full advantage of it. This may very well be a once in a century pandemic. And of course, there's hardships and terrible things associated with it. But it's an incredible time to be a frontline healthcare provider. It's an incredible time to be actively involved with the healthcare system, be right there on the front lines, looking after people, making big decisions, helping families walk through challenging decisions. And I really hope you jump in with 2 feet. I hope you learn a lot. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you ask for help when you need help. I hope you take the time to be a leader when there's the time to be a leader, and just have the best time with it. Learn a ton, and I'll see you on the wards. Best of luck next year. Have a wonderful summer.
Hello, my name is Vincent Lam. I'm a physician and an author. First of all, congratulations on entering the fine profession of medicine. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We know that you come to us at a particularly difficult moment. And if you're like many people on this planet, you probably feel like a lot of things are a bit uncertain right now. You'd love to find something solid to grasp onto, something to help guide your way forward. I have some really good news for you. That exact thing, that solid guide, it's deep inside you. Now, I'd like to invite you to come with me on a bit of an imaginary journey to help get closer in touch with what that solid thing is inside you. And what I'd like you to do is imagine your retirement party. That's right. On the occasion of your graduation, I'm going to ask you to imagine your retirement party. In however many years from now, you will have had a wonderfully successful career. You will have cherished friends and colleagues, and they will gather at some point to celebrate not only your career as a physician, but your association and your friendship with them as a human being. And what I'd like you to do is think about what kinds of things you hope that those people will say at your retirement party. Now, trust me, if you become the chief of some department at some wonderful hospital, they're probably not going to mention it at your retirement party. If you publish 100 amazing papers, guess what? They're already published. They might not say that at your retirement party. If you have made heaps of money, I guarantee no one's going to say that at your retirement party. What do you hope that people will say? Well, what you probably hope is that people will say something about the kind of person that you are. Something about the way that you treat your patients, the way that you treat yourself, the way that you treat people around you. And this is a solid thing I'm getting at. This is your inner compass. Now, it turns out probably many of us share similar compass points. I think by virtue of you becoming a physician, you probably have compass points which include empathy, which include critical thinking, which include diligence. And probably some of us have compass points which are very different. Some of you may be very imaginative, and that might serve you really well in your clinical practice. Some of you might really pride yourselves on seeing the world as it is, and that can also serve you very well in your clinical practice. Some of you may have a sense of adventure that may serve you well, both in life and in practice, and some of you may have a sense of safety and conservatism, and that may also serve you well. So you see, most of us probably share some compass points, and most of us probably have some that differ one from another. And these are the things that if you can understand what they are for you, you can hold on to. Now, there are many things that you won't be able to predict as time goes on. None of us predicted that your graduation ceremony would be done in this manner. We couldn't predict that a pandemic would be upon us at this month in this year. Likewise, there are many things in your career that you will try to control, but you won't entirely be able to control. You may not be able to control exactly what job you get. You may not be able to control exactly what patient walks in the door next. But what you can always have a great deal of influence over is whether your actions line up with your internal compass points. You will always be able to have a great deal of impact upon the choices of actions that you make, whether they line up with empathy, with critical thinking, with diligence, and with the other compass points inside you that make you, you. And so I hope that at the start of your career, you take a moment and reflect upon what's deep inside you and what will guide you all the way through. Once again, welcome.
Congratulations to the 260 new doctors of the class of 2020. I'm Dr. Catherine Zahn, class of 78, President and CEO of CAMH. While I know you're missing out on the camaraderie, the closure, and the sense of accomplishment that comes with the graduation ceremony, remember, you may be apart, but you're sure not alone. Together, you've made a million memories, hard ones, poignant ones, and absolutely thrilling ones. Together, you're witnesses to a singular moment in time, a global pandemic where doctors have been dazzling examples of caring, courage, and professionalism. Together, you're about to be delivered into a world in turmoil, but a world that's still magnificent and sparkling with opportunity. Step into it with pride, with humility, and a commitment to give the world your best. Welcome.
Hello, class of 2020, and congratulations. Graduates, you are the next generation of physicians, MDs, doctors. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. You've worked hard to get here. You've spent most of your life working towards this moment. And even though it isn't playing out how you thought it would, this is still your moment. After 4 years of med school, you are now ready for the next chapter. Your parents and your professors are so proud of you, and I am too. Vous êtes diplômé de l'une des meilleures écoles de médecine du pays. Et le monde a besoin de vous maintenant plus que jamais. Vous avez des compétences et des connaissances incroyables et, par conséquent, vous avez aussi une énorme responsabilité. As you go out into the world and as you start your next stage of your training as first-year medical residents, you will face one of the greatest challenges of our time. But you have the skills and the training we need to beat COVID-19. You are a much-needed addition in the fight against this disease. Now, I know that the last few months haven't been easy, and the coming months won't be either. You may be feeling anxious about that, and that's okay. These are challenging times. But in this dark moment, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. My friends, you are that light. You will get us through this crisis, and we'll be right here to support you. So as you start this next chapter, remember that you have the power to change Canada and the world for the better. Being a doctor is a calling, and each and every one of you has answered that call, and we are all so grateful for that. Once again, congratulations, class of 2020. Encore une fois, félicitations à la cohorte de 2020.